And to be honest, I have been procrastinating filming this video for the longest time now because I just felt nervous about it. But this is my body in natural light. I am 8 weeks postpartum. This is just where I'm at right now. What's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, you guys are getting my full postpartum update. And to be honest, I have been procrastinating this video for a long time now. I don't know if it's because I've been nervous about talking about the postpartum experience. I don't know if it's been from talking about the actual postpartum recovery physically to even like showing you guys what things are looking like with my body right now after my first baby. I have just been putting it off, but today I am going to do it, committing to getting this out for you guys. I just want to be real and transparent about the process, so stick around if you are interested in seeing more about that. You guys have also been wanting to see a little bit more of the behind the scenes of our lives, so I'm going to take you guys behind the scenes a little bit of our day today. Today is Sunday. We are planning for the week ahead, and Sundays are typically pretty crazy days for us. If you did not know, my husband Jared is a pastor at our church, and so we had our services this morning. We're there with our daughter. We just got back now for lunch, so I'm getting everyone fed. We're getting the groceries put away, meal prep ready for the week, and then Jared is going to actually go back out because he is speaking / preaching tonight for the service that's going to air next week. So today is a full day, but you guys will get a little behind the scenes look of what things look like. Vivian did not do super well in service today. She was quiet through it, but usually she'll just go to sleep, and she has just been fighting her nap all day today, and really for the last few days because she's just coming out of the second leap. So fingers crossed that she gets a good nap this afternoon. After church today, we went to Walmart to pick up some groceries with the pickup service, which is such a lifesaver when you have a baby in the car seat, especially a hungry baby. I've been trying to coordinate everything on Sundays now so that we have groceries in the fridge, laundry is done. Basically, we're just in a good spot and kind of reset for the week ahead. I am very much someone who needs a paper planner to do all the things that I do, whether it's to-do lists, meal plans, calendars. If I don't have that, then I feel like I just try and do things on the notes in my phone and it doesn't work out for me. So I just got this on the menu thing from Amazon. I don't know if you guys can see this, but it has like different spots for each of the days of the week in a shopping list that you can actually peel off and take with you to the store. So I use that to order all of our groceries from Walmart, and we only have a few meals that we actually need to plan out because we have our anniversary coming up this week and dinner at a friend's house the other night. So I'm going to get all of these groceries into the fridge now, and then we will move on to the next thing. We got the groceries, they're in the fridge, meal prep is now done, the girl is asleep for now. We'll see how long that lasts. So the next thing on my to-do list is laundry. Another Canadian YouTuber that I follow, her name is Delilah. I think her channel is called Lopsky's Life. She'll often do laundry while she's filming YouTube videos, and I just thought that that was the most brilliant idea ever, because like you're sitting and you're not doing anything anyway, so might as well fold some laundry. We'll have a little bit of chat and dive into all of the postpartum goodness that we're going to get into in this video. Before I get too far into this topic, I did want to put a trigger warning in here. I am going to be talking a little bit about weight, like actual measurements on the scale, body image, all of these different types of things, and that can be really sensitive for some people. I know it can be sensitive for me sometimes, and so if that could kind of put you off or bother you a little bit today, I wanted to give you the heads up now so that you can click off or come back at another time if that could be overwhelming for you. The whole point of me even making this video today is to talk and bring more awareness to the reality of the postpartum experience. We prepare so much for childbirth and even for pregnancy, and throughout it we're reading what to expect when you're expecting and all of these different things, but no one talks as much about that fourth trimester. Those few weeks after you get home and you have the baby, you are so just focused in on this new life, which makes sense and it's the right thing. It can be such a beautiful thing, but with that there's obviously the recovery, there's obviously the adjusting to being a mom, to just being in pain, but also just experiencing so many highs and lows, and it's just an insane experience. And so in this video I want to talk about the not so glamorous parts of it, as well as some of the things that are really wonderful careful about it in hopes that if you are someone that's pregnant right now, your transition into postpartum might be a little bit easier, or if you are in the thick of it right now, you can know that you're not alone and that so much of what you are going through is normal as well. So let's start way back before I had my baby. While I was still pregnant, my third trimester was by far the toughest of the trimesters for me. I think first trimester was also really hard, but that was kind of in its own unique way because you're dealing with all of the nausea, or at least in my case I was, and then headaches were really intense for me, but I was still just so excited about being pregnant for the first time and being able to talk about it with friends and family that I feel like it didn't feel as all-consuming. But for me, when I got into third trimester, that was when things started getting really intense. And at that point, I thought that I was being a little bit dramatic because I had never been pregnant before, so I was just feeling so uncomfortable by like 33 weeks. And I was like, is this just what it's like to be pregnant? Like, this is just so uncomfortable. But it was a few weeks later at the 36-week ultrasound that I found out that I was basically carrying what the average size baby is at the time of actual labor and delivery. And I remember finding that out and just feeling like, oh my gosh, so that's why I've been so uncomfortable and in so much like pain so early in third trimester. But at that point, I remember I was holding on to a lot of water weight. My face was really, really swollen. Even looking back at my like third trimester update video and seeing what my face looked like then compared to a few weeks later now, the difference is insane. That was one of the first things that happened to me when I got pregnant, is my face would kind of swell up with it. But I remember having like the dog, for example, would sit on my lap and he would get off and I would have paw prints on my leg because they were so swollen. I didn't have ankles. I was so uncomfortable. So that is where things were at in third trimester. But all of that being said, I only actually gained 33 pounds in pregnancy. So going into pregnancy, I was a little bit more than I typically weigh just with COVID in the pandemic. Like, I wasn't going to the gym as often. I had just started working with a personal trainer again, trying to get some muscle mass back because I knew I wanted to start trying for a baby soon and kind of wanted to support my body in that. So I'm like 5'7" for reference if anyone is wondering in this, but I was around 140 when I got pregnant and ended up getting to like 173 in pregnancy. So with the recommended weight gain, I actually stayed pretty close and well in there. A lot of people have asked like, did you have gestational diabetes or like whatever because your baby was so big? But no, like that was literally just all baby that I was holding in there, and then just being so swollen from carrying all of that extra weight. The actual damage from the labor was not that bad. It was much better than I thought. It was one of the first things that I asked about after she was out. I was just like, how bad was the tearing? Because I was just so like in another world mentally as this was happening, I didn't necessarily even like think about it in the moment. And so after I asked that question, I was like, did they have to do an episiotomy? Like, what ended up happening? I don't know. And so they were like, it actually wasn't that bad. You only had a 2nd degree tear. So 2nd degree is actually pretty average. It's not anything on the severe side or anything like that. So given the size of Vivian and her head, I was pretty happy to only have a 2nd degree tear. So they put the baby on my chest and then they took her away and took her over to Jared for weighing and for all of the fun things that happened after that point. And so then oh, these are underwear. I'm not gonna fold my underwear on YouTube. So she was off doing all of that stuff with Jared, and they immediately just started stitching me back up, and that was a very uncomfortable feeling. I honestly think that that was one of the most like mind over matter type things for me, where it's like you're pushing and there's like a great purpose with it where you know your baby's gonna come out afterwards. But when it came to the stitching, it was just like this really uncomfortable and painful like pulling feeling, and my baby is no longer with me. So everyone is over across the other side of the room paying attention to the baby, and I'm just laying there like, what the heck just happened? And that was honestly like what the intro to postpartum just felt like overall. It's interesting because you spend so much time in pregnancy. Everyone's like, how are you feeling? Is there anything I can do for you? Are you feeling good? And then you go into labor and delivery and it's like, you've got this. But then in that moment, as soon as your baby comes out, the crowd kind of goes over with the baby, and then you're there, you're mom, you're recovering, and now your role is really to just figure out how to take care of this baby. And so I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I think it's great that the focus goes on the baby. Like, you've been waiting this whole time for the baby. However, there is an element in it of being prepared for that overwhelming feeling of like, what about me all of a sudden, and still needing to be able to prioritize how you're feeling, this transition now into being a mom and the new identity that you're taking on, while simultaneously also having just gone through this life-changing experience of birth and being usually in a lot of pain after that happens as well. So right after I gave birth and I got stitched up and everything was good, I think immediately my first response, like going in, getting up for the first time, was feeling like, okay, that's a little bit better than I thought that it was going to be. I don't know what I expected. I think I expected to feel like I got hit by a car, and to a certain degree I did in the days that followed. But the first kind of thing that I felt when I got up from the bed and the epidural had been taken off, so there's no more drugs anymore, you're just kind of taking ibuprofen and whatever else, I remember standing up and feeling like, okay, that's better than I thought it was going to be. And then same kind of thing when I went to the bathroom the first time. And I remember even saying this in the birth vlog, as I went to the bathroom and I was surprised at how much I felt like I could kind of bear with the pain that I was feeling. It stung a little bit, of course, and it was a little bit interesting trying to figure out how to navigate the peri bottle and the blood and everything else. But all in all, I do remember it not being as bad as I had prepared for. I remember coming home and in those first couple of days being back, just being so frustrated that it felt like I was taking steps back in my recovery. And I've said this as well before, that it really does feel like the postpartum recovery isn't necessarily a linear thing. You can often expect, like when you get a bruise or a wound, that every single day it's getting a little bit better. And that may actually be what is happening in your case. However, it doesn't necessarily feel that way pain-wise. There were days where I would go to the bathroom and it felt like I was back at square one again. Or I would try and go for a walk, and then after that it was like, okay, I'm going to be out for the next 2 days because of the amount of pressure that I just put on my body. But I do want to spend some time talking a little bit about my postpartum body and body image and kind of the experience that I've had with all of that. So as I mentioned to you guys, I only gained about 33 pounds in pregnancy, but I was carrying a big baby in the front. When I came home and adjusted a little bit more being in that new body, I remember one of the more challenging things for me being my stretch marks. Because my baby was so big, I didn't necessarily see the extent of the stretch marks that I had. In my 3rd trimester video, I even mentioned to you guys, like, I'm just starting to get a little bit of stretch marks on my belly, blah, 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 blah. And I remember coming home and like, I just couldn't see them because my stomach was so big, but underneath my belly, and I'll show you guys in a minute, there were just so many stretch marks all around like my belly button, my pelvis area. I got them across my thighs. I didn't get them anywhere that I already had them, so I actually had a few like across my butt and in my inner thighs from high school, just going through a growth spurt. So I was already kind of predisposed to stretch marks, but my stomach did shrink back down pretty quickly. So in the first week, I gave kind of like a week of time to go by to see kind of where things would fall, how things would look like. And so I actually did take another photo or video, and I'll insert whatever I have here for you guys to see as well, of what my body looked like after the 1 week postpartum mark. And at that point, I was wearing some of the postpartum clothes that I had picked up, but I noticed that they started to feel a little bit loose. So I was curious to know, like, where are things at right now? Obviously, your body composition has changed so much at this point, so going and just weighing yourself is not going to be a good measure of like where you're actually at, especially because I personally lost a lot of muscle in pregnancy. But I did weigh myself after that 1 week mark, and I had lost 27 pounds in 1 week. So between Vivian coming out close to 10 pounds and then the placenta and all of these fluids that are coming out of you, most of the pregnancy weight that I had gained, except for like 5 pounds, was gone within that first week. I am exclusively breastfeeding. I don't know if that has something to do with it, but I am back down to my pre-pregnancy weight now. Granted, my body composition is totally different, and it's not my pre-pregnancy body by any means, because my boobs are different now, like my belly looks different now. I have less muscle mass right now and need to work on gaining my strength back, but I am back down to the weight that I was before I got pregnant. I would definitely say that I felt some of that pressure to bounce back, as people say. Whether or not people recognize it, I did, because I lost a lot of the weight so quickly, and because I was so swollen, and a lot of it was water weight, and so it was gone quickly. I got a lot of comments from people, mostly strangers, that would either stop me in the mall or whatever else and see me with a young baby and ask how old she is, and then I would tell them like she's only a couple weeks old or she's whatever weeks old, and a lot of people would be like, oh my gosh, like you look so amazing for having just had a baby, or you look this for this or whatever, and kind of qualifying like how my body looked because of what it did and whatever else. And that did bug me a little bit because I think it just kind of fed into some of the thoughts that I was trying not to allow creep in, of what my body looked like post-birth being a measure of how good I was as a mom, how good I was as a wife or a woman in general. And I think that we're doing a lot of great work as a society to kind of counterbalance a lot of that bounce back culture with this bounce forward culture, where we talk more about moving forward, because you do have a brand new body. You're a new person. You can't go back to the body that you had before because that body has never given birth. You don't have the same body. It's done something different. You are a different person, and there's something so beautiful about that. And so I've been trying to be really gracious with myself and focusing on gaining strength back instead of just getting back into a certain outfit or looking like a photo that I used to look like, or even looking at a new photo and saying like, I want to look like that person. So with all that being said, I'll show you what things look like now. All right, so I just changed into a set that you guys can actually see what I look like in, but this is my body in natural light. I am 8 weeks postpartum right now, so I just got approved to exercise again. Haven't been going through any exercise routines per se, just light stretching, and I've exercised 2 times now at the time of this video, so this is just what it looks like. So this is what my body looks like relaxed post-baby. I'll roll this down a little bit because I think that you can get a better look at it when it's not tucked up into workout clothing, but this is what it looks like from the front. And from the side, you can obviously see that there's like a little bit of a pouch there. They often call that like the mommy pouch, but I also feel like I kind of had not 100% of a flat stomach before I got pregnant. I still do kind of have the line from pregnancy here. I heard that that can take some time for it to fade. And then I also have the stretch marks on the sides here. So my stomach got so big in the front and at the sides, and I did not have any stretch marks there before being pregnant, but now I do. You can also see that the skin here has just lost a little bit of that elasticity. It's a little bit stretchier, especially around this belly button area and directly underneath my belly button. So as I was saying to you guys, my body composition changed a lot after I had a baby, and that's okay. I think what I've realized in all of this is just how much more I have an appreciation for my body, that I wish I didn't have to go through this process of being pregnant and having a baby to actually feel. There are so many things that I didn't let myself wear before because I felt insecure in them, whether I thought my belly looked too big or my arms looked too big. I just wouldn't wear all of these different things, and now, even though it's gone through this dramatic change and it looks so different, I feel more confident because I really understand what my body can actually do. The other day I was looking at my daughter and I just had this moment where I looked at her and I remember grabbing at my own stomach because she was laying beside me, and for a second the thought crossed my head of like, oh, I don't like the way that it feels softer than it used to, but it won't be like this forever. I'll be able to work out again, it'll get stronger, and I'll love my body once I get there. But then I remember thinking, but where is there? Because even when I was thinner per se, or more muscular or whatever, I was never fully satisfied with my body in those times either. There truly is never a there. And you know, I realized a love for your body doesn't happen when you reach a certain point, because that point will never come. If you're waiting for that point to come, it won't. You have to decide to actually just love your body today for what it can do, for how it can serve you, for the way that God designed it to be. I looked at my little baby and her little lips and her eyes and her mouth and her little belly and her legs and fingers and toes, and I was just so thankful to God that He gave me a body that could actually form those things. He knit her together in my womb, and I look at her with just so much awe and wonder. And the crazy thing is that I used to be just like her. I was also knit together in another mother's womb. And at what point do we look at ourselves and stop recognizing the beauty in who God has created us to be and start criticizing ourselves and picking things apart? Psalm 139 verse 14 in the Bible talks about how we are fearfully and wonderfully made by God. And in pregnancy, I had such a strong realization of what it truly meant for a baby to be knit together in my womb. And I knew and trusted and believed that God was doing such a beautiful job with her, no matter what she would look like. But do you really hear that verse and think about yourself? Are you able to say, I am beautifully and wonderfully made? God created me knowing that I was going to have stretch marks someday. He knew the ways that my body would expand and get ready for this baby girl that he was going to give me. And now I just have such a profound revelation of the way that he sees me when he looks at me, because it's the same way that I feel when I look at my daughter now. Well guys, I hope that you enjoyed this postpartum journey video. I know that it was a little bit longer, but there was a lot of stuff that I wanted to communicate in this video. It's hard to summarize so many emotions that I've been feeling and processing over the last couple of weeks, and I feel like there's still even more things that I didn't get to. But if there's other things that you guys want me to hit on, whether that is postpartum essentials or breastfeeding or whatever else, let me know and I would love to create that for you. One quote that really has stuck with me through the whole postpartum experience is that the lows feel permanent and the highs are unparalleled. And that couldn't be more true to really just summarize the experience, where those days that feel dark feel so dark, but it's also good to remember that they're just for a season. They're not going to be forever. Better days are around the corner, and of course those highs are so unparalleled. That feeling of loving your baby, of getting to a place where you can actually be comfortable with yourself, it's just an incredible thing. And so whether you are having a good postpartum experience or a really tough one, I want to pray for you. So let me know who you are in the comments and know that I am here for you guys. So until next time, I love you, I'm praying for you, and I will see you soon.